Game 3 of the playoff schedule this year is the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Eagles are the 7th seed in the NFC, and the Buccaneers are the 2 seed and the defending champions. This game is Sunday at 1 o'clock. This game is a game that's getting a little bit more attention than it deserves at the moment. People are seeing the Eagles, they're seeing the Bucs, and they're seeing the Eagles are entering the playoffs on a bit of a better streak than the Bucs are. And they're looking at some of the games they've played. Like they didn't play anybody against Dallas, but coming into the game, they've been playing good football. They started the season 2-5 and have turned it around and up making the playoffs. They're finished with a 9-8 record. And if you just ignore the Dallas game, they had a bad loss to the Giants, that 7-13 game in Week 12, but they followed that up with some good divisional wins. They took care of the Jets easily. They beat Washington by 10, beat the Giants by 24, then beat Washington again by 4, and then they just didn't play anybody against the Eagles. They had already played the playoffs. If you look at the schedule, they've had some good wins and they've had some close losses. Like a 30-13 win over the Broncos. That's a very good win. The Broncos were a competitive team this season. They beat the Eagles 40-29. That's a good win. Then they have a tough loss here against the Chargers, 27-24. Like that's a good game. And against the Chiefs and the Buccaneers, they put up good fights. They lost 42-30 against the Chiefs in a game that no one could get a stop, and they lost 28-22 against the Bucs. Now that game against the Bucs was in Philly, but again, rematches. It's always hard to beat a team twice, and that's what the Bucs are gonna have to do here. The Eagles played them tight, and the way the Bucs have been playing, the Bucs are definitely not trending as up as the Eagles are. You look at the Eagles and the way they finished the season, pretty much on a 4-game win streak. Again, you kind of just knock off that loss. But the Bucs over here, they struggled with the Jets. They handled the Panthers very well, but they had a rough go against the Jets in Week 17. They got shut out in Week 15 by the Saints. That was a bad loss, 9-0. But then you got week 16 and Week 18. You had just free wins against the Panthers, just absolutely killing them. So they're really not going that low, but they have this surrounding Antonio Brown drama, and it's kind of making it to where people are like, well, look at the Eagles. You got the Bucs, got some other things going on that could maybe distract them, but it's a Tom Brady team, and they're not going to be distracted by anything. So people that are thinking that there could be an upset, you just get out of here. Um, the Eagles could maybe play it close, and that would be an upset. Be like, wow, the Eagles kept it. The Eagles had it as a one-score game at halftime, or the Eagles have the lead at halftime, or it's tied, or something like that. But by the third quarter, once the third quarter ends again in the fourth quarter, Tampa's going to be up, and Tampa's just going to be. The Eagles probably will play 3 quarters. That's what I'll expect. Bucs will be up like 4 going into the fourth quarter, and then Tom will score 2 touchdowns, and the defense won't break at all, and they'll end up making it look. It'll end up being like a 17-point game or something like that. Something we've seen so many times from Tom Brady, and that's why I'm gonna go with the Bucs here. Now we know the Eagles have a good defense. They've got some good players. They got Darius Slay. Darius Slay is probably their best player. He's a good corner, and he'll have to the Eagles secondary will have one less challenge without dealing with Antonio Brown, but there's still a lot of talent on the Tampa Bay roster. You got Rob Gronkowski, Mike Evans, a lot of guys, especially the running backs. You got Leonard Fournette. I believe Godwin's still out, but there's still very good offense. You got Cameron Brate, and then again, it's led by Tom Brady, and they got a good line too. So they're not going to get much pressure on Brady. He's going to get the ball out quick. Pressure is not going to be a big factor in this game. You just need your secondary to hold nicely, and you got to take care of the run game. And then Philly on offense, they're going to try to run the ball. That's Jalen Hurts' thing. Hopefully he's healthy. Nick Sirianni, I think he's a good coach. They've done a good job with their run game. But Tampa Bay's got a really good defense. They got a lot of fast linebackers that'll be able to play nice quarterback spies on Jalen Hurts. I don't think he'll be able to make too many creative plays, too many highlight reel plays. I don't think we'll see that in this game. And I think the Bucs handle him nicely. Like I said, I could see it potentially being a game for 3 quarters and then the Bucs pull away late. But I really think this is one of the games where the Bucs come out early, they take the lead, and then they kind of coast from there on out. And the Eagles maybe make it closer towards the end of the game. Maybe have a little bit of a stretch where it's like, okay, maybe they're getting back into it. But I think it's gonna stay pretty much. I think they're gonna jump on them early, and the Bucs are gonna stay ahead. I think it could be. I could see it being a 2-score game the entirety of the game. Like Bucs jump out, score 2 touchdowns in the first drive, and then it's kind of just you score, I score, punt, that type of thing. More than I could see the Eagles sticking with it and having it be an actual legitimate competitive football game for the first 3 quarters or for the entire game for that matter. I think it'll be a double-digit win for the Bucs. I think it's going to end up being another tune-in game for them. I don't think the Eagles are the best team available. I know they beat the Saints, but I think the Saints are still a better team. I think their defense is better. I think Sean Payton's a better coach. I think he could do more to stop Tom Brady like we saw him do than the Eagles can. The Eagles have a better offense, but I think if you take away the Jameis Winston injury, the Saints are definitely a better team, and that's really the only reason why the Eagles beat them. I believe that was one of the Trevor Siemian games, and without that game, the Saints are in this spot and not the Eagles. So to finalize anything that everybody wants to know, do Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and this Eagles offense have any sort of chance? My answer is going to be no. I expect a non-competitive game. I'm going to be rooting for the Eagles personally. I like Jalen Hurts. I think Nick Sirianni is a good coach, but I don't think they have a chance. The Bucs are the defending champs for a reason, and they're going to take care of business. The NFC's got a much bigger gap between the top teams and the lower teams than the AFC does, and I don't think this game is that competitive as much as we all want it to be.